You didn't arrive at this video by accident. There is an invisible field that connects thoughts, intentions, and events. And somehow, that field led you here, right now. Maybe you felt that something greater operates behind what we call reality. Something that can't be explained only by logic, but that vibrates in every cell of your body, in every synchronicity, in every impossible coincidence. Hermes Trismegistus called it the All. And he said, as above, so below, as within, so without. But what few people know is that Hermes didn't just describe the universe, he coded a science. A spiritual science now being rediscovered by quantum physics, neuroscience, and human consciousness studies. For centuries, alchemists tried to decode his teachings, believing he was talking about turning lead into gold. But the truth is that Hermes's gold was never metal. It was consciousness. It was the ability to shape reality through the coherence of thought, emotion, and vibration. Today, you will uncover one of the most carefully guarded secrets of ancient wisdom, the lost principle, hidden from humanity, the missing element that completes the 7 Hermetic laws. If you truly understand what you're about to hear, you'll see why some people seem to manifest miracles while others repeat the same patterns of limitation. So before we go further, subscribe to this channel, not just to follow the next videos, but because when you do, you send a vibrational message to the universe. I choose to awaken. I choose to remember. Each new subscriber is a pulse of consciousness that strengthens this collective field of awakening we're building together. Today, you'll receive knowledge that unites the ancient mysticism of Hermes with modern physics, revealing that reality isn't fixed, but fluid, programmable, and sensitive to the frequency of your mind and heart. The lost principle is the missing key to understanding not only how the universe works, but how you create it, moment by moment, thought by thought. And when that becomes clear, something inside you remembers. You were never just an observer. You have always been the creator. In the ancient manuscripts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, there's an enigmatic book known as the Kybalion. For centuries, it was seen as a compendium of forbidden wisdom, accessible only to initiates, because whoever truly understood its teachings would gain the power to shape destiny itself. Hermes described the universe not as a physical place, but as a living, conscious mind in constant motion. From this vision arise the 7 Hermetic laws, the principles that hold reality together. The first is the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Everything that exists is a projection of consciousness. Reality is a holographic field generated by intelligent information. Today, quantum physics confirms that the observer influences the behavior of subatomic particles, exactly as Hermes taught thousands of years ago. The second is the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. It describes the interconnection between all levels of existence. The pattern that shapes an atom is the same that governs galaxies, and the same that shapes your thoughts. The micro mirrors the macro continuously. Understanding this is the first step to mastering creation's mirrors. The law of vibration says that nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. In modern terms, everything is energy, not abstract energy, but a specific frequency defining its form and state. We shift our vibration by shifting thoughts, emotions, and focus. The law of polarity teaches that everything is dual, light and shadow, hot and cold, love and fear. Yet these opposites are two extremes of one essence. You can consciously transmute vibration, moving between poles instead of being pulled by them. The law of rhythm reminds us that everything flows, rises and falls, expands and contracts. It's the heartbeat of the universe, tides, seasons, cycles of body and soul. When you understand rhythm, you learn to surf the waves of life instead of resisting them. Then comes the law of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every action vibrates and returns in the form of experience. Modern science calls it feedback, but Hermes knew every cause is also an effect, and every effect creates new causes. And the seventh law, gender, does not refer to biological sex, but to the creative duality, emissive and receptive forces, both present in all that exists. Every creation is born from their balance. These 7 laws form the skeleton of the cosmos. But something binds them together, something that makes them sing as one, not as separate fragments. That is the mystery of the lost principle, the 8th vibration, the hidden note that keeps all the others in harmony. Imagine for a moment that the universe is a vast symphony. Every atom, every emotion, every thought vibrates as a note in that cosmic orchestra. The 7 Hermetic laws are the score that guides this music. But there is something more, an 8th invisible force, the rhythm that keeps all notes in harmony. Hermes called it the essence of the all, and today we might recognize it as what science is beginning to call universal coherence. The lost principle teaches that reality does not respond to thought alone, but to coherence between what we think, feel, and do. Manifestation doesn't arise from the mind, but from the resonance between mind and heart. Hermes said, "The heart is the gateway between the human and the divine." Now, thousands of years later, neuroscience confirms that the heart has its own nervous system and an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. When thought and emotion vibrate in harmony, a state of coherence emerges, powerful enough to reorganize the quantum field around us. Quantum physics calls this phase coherence, the moment when different systems vibrate at the same frequency and begin to act as one. When a person enters coherence, their entire electromagnetic signature changes. Cells communicate more efficiently, the mind becomes clear, and intuition, once quiet, becomes a guide. That is why the principle of universal coherence connects all Hermetic laws. Without coherence, mentalism is fantasy. Without coherence, correspondence is random. Without coherence, vibration is scattered. Without coherence, cause and effect repeat in endless loops. Coherence is the vibrational state that allows the universe to hear you. It's the moment you stop sending mixed signals and become a finely tuned antenna, radiating a pure, conscious frequency. That's why prayer, meditation, and deep contemplation have always been universal keys, not because of dogma, but because of physics. These states align the heart and the mind, and within that alignment, reality begins to respond. Now, take a moment, breathe deeply. Feel your heartbeat at the center of your chest. Think of something you want to manifest. But this time, don't just imagine it with your mind. Feel it with your entire body. Feel the vibration of that reality as if it already exists within you. That was the secret of the ancients. That is the lost principle. In recent years, science has begun to touch realms once reserved for metaphysics. What Hermes called the all is now described by physicists as a unified field of energy and information. Einstein called it the quantum field, and David Bohm described it as the implicate order, an invisible ocean of possibilities where everything is connected to everything else. What Hermes expressed through symbolic language, science is now beginning to measure. Quantum mechanics experiments show that particles separated by vast distances continue to behave as if they were one, a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement. This means space and time are not barriers to information. Everything that exists is interwoven within a single field of consciousness. In neuroscience, recent discoveries show that coherent emotions such as gratitude and genuine love generate synchronized brain and heart wave patterns. This state alters body chemistry, boosts immunity, and expands perception. It's as if the human body were an instrument that, when properly tuned, resonates with the cosmic symphony. Hermes once said, "The universe is mind, and the mind creates all things." Modern science, though using different words, has reached a similar conclusion. Consciousness is the fabric of reality. Quantum pioneer Max Planck stated, "There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force, and that force is consciousness." Even more intriguing, when a group of people enters a state of vibrational coherence, their energy fields synchronize. Research from universities and independent labs suggests that the human heart's field can influence others at a distance. This means that one person's coherent state doesn't just transform the self, it transforms the surrounding environment. Here lies the urgency of Hermes' wisdom. In today's noisy, disconnected world, we are witnessing a collapse of coherence. Our minds are fragmented, our hearts misaligned, our intentions scattered. And when that happens, collective reality loses stability, chaos emerges. Recovering the principle of universal coherence is more than a spiritual idea. It's an evolutionary necessity. Reality isn't something that happens to you, it's something that happens through you. The way you vibrate defines the kind of world you sustain. Hermes would say, "He who understands the law of coherence is prepared to command the flow of life." And perhaps, right now, the universe is inviting you to do exactly that, to remember your power to create order within chaos. Now, stop everything for a moment. Breathe. Don't let this video become just another piece of content in your routine. You're here for a reason, and that reason is simple. You are ready. Ready to understand what most people still overlook about reality. In the past few minutes, you've heard about Hermes, the 7 universal laws, and the lost principle, universal coherence. We've spoken of science, vibration, and consciousness, but none of it means anything unless you allow yourself to feel. This is where knowledge turns into experience, where information becomes living energy. What you're about to understand isn't theory. It's a code that transforms how you relate to the world and to yourself, so pay attention. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. Sense your heartbeat, silent, constant. This is the point where the mind touches the divine. The entire universe vibrates toward coherence, toward harmony between all parts. And when you align internally, when thought, emotion, and action unite, you become a mirror of that harmony. You stop fighting the flow and begin to direct it. But it takes courage to stay conscious, because the world around you will try to pull you back into noise, rush, distraction. Coherence is silent. It demands presence, discernment, and choice. And few sustain it, because coherence dismantles the old self, the one that thrived on confusion. Right now, choose to be fully here. You're not just watching a video. You're participating in a vibrational experiment. With every breath, your frequency adjusts to the vibration of this collective field we're building together. And that's not a metaphor, it's physics. Coherent fields synchronize. If you feel something different now, it's not coincidence, it's resonance. Before we move on, remember, knowledge only becomes power when lived. And what you'll learn next is how to apply this lost principle in your life, in a practical, measurable, and profound way. But for now, just breathe. Let silence reveal what the mind cannot explain. The universe speaks in vibrations, and right now, it's speaking to you. If the universe is a vibrational orchestra, coherence is the conductor that turns noise into melody. And the good news is, you can learn to conduct your own symphony. The reality you live today is the direct result of the dominant frequency of your field, not just your thoughts, but the vibrational quality born from the sum of what you think, feel, and do. The mind projects, the heart amplifies, and the body manifests. When these three centers operate in harmony, matter reorganizes to reflect that alignment. Neuroscience has proven that the human brain is plastic. It reshapes itself according to what we repeat and the emotions attached to that repetition. This means that feeling gives reality to thought. Thinking without emotion is like sending a weak signal into the quantum field. It lacks power to materialize, but when thought is coupled with coherent emotion, the vibration stabilizes and begins to collapse probabilities around that intention. That's why the core practice of the principle of coherence is simple yet profound. Breathe consciously. Inhale to a count of 4, exhale to a count of 4. This synchronizes heart and brain. Bring to mind a clear intention, not a list of desires, but a single state you wish to live. Peace, prosperity, love, purpose. Feel it as if it's real. Imagine the physical and emotional sensations of living that reality now. Feel gratitude in advance. It's the frequency of creation. Stay in that coherent state for a few minutes. If doubts or negative thoughts arise, don't fight them. Just return to the feeling. This practice creates a coherent electromagnetic field around you. And the more time you spend in that state, the more your external reality begins to adjust. What once seemed coincidence becomes synchronicity. Opportunities appear, relationships shift, and decisions become intuitive and precise. Coherence is not forced positivity, it's vibrational authenticity. Being coherent doesn't mean denying fear or pain. It means integrating them with awareness. When you accept and embrace what you feel, you transform noise into harmony. The energy that once drained your field now fuels your creation. That's why the affirmations you write here, in the comments or in your journal, are more than words. They are vibrational codes. When you write, read, and repeat them consciously, you create an energetic circuit that reprograms your mind and anchors this new timeline into your field. So when I invite you to comment, it's not just to engage the video, it's to feed the collective flow of consciousness. It's an exercise in anchoring. Daily repetition turns vibration into identity. So, if you wish to seal this understanding now, write, here, or for yourself. I consciously choose the frequency that creates my world. Repeat this phrase in the coming days, aloud or in silence. Let it become the soundtrack of your vibrational field, because every time you speak it, the universe reorganizes its particles around that new coherence, and slowly, everything out of tune with it begins to dissolve, naturally, effortlessly. The universe is mind, vibration, and harmony. And now you know there's an eighth law that unites all others, the principle of universal coherence. The secret was never hidden in temples or ancient texts. It has always been within you, dormant, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And perhaps that moment is now. Hermes didn't teach dogma. He taught remembrance, the return to awareness that we are part of a cosmic intelligence creating through us. When you understand this, life stops being a sequence of random events and becomes a field of possibilities shaped by your vibration. You stop reacting to reality and begin to co-create it. The ancients called it the royal art, the science of turning density into light. Today, we call it coherence, the state in which body, mind, and spirit vibrate as one. There is no greater magic than being whole, present, and conscious of what you emit. Perhaps you now realize that everything you've sought, love, purpose, abundance, has always been an expression of one single movement, the desire to return to coherence with the all. Because when human beings vibrate in coherence, they remember what they truly are, pure consciousness. This is where knowledge ceases to be theory and becomes revolution. There is no transformation without vibrational action. There is no awakening without daily practice. So choose to live in coherence. Choose to breathe with presence. Choose to think with clarity. Choose to feel with truth. And the universe will respond, because it always responds to the frequency of coherence. If this message resonated with you, share it. Help expand this field of consciousness, because each awakened person illuminates hundreds more. Leave your comment, your vibration, your testimony, not for engagement, but because your energy is part of this collective creation. And remember, the highest timeline is not a place in the future. It's a state of being, available here and now. May you walk in peace, in lucidity, and in love. Until the next awakening.